Hey friends, and welcome back to Sewing from Scratch. I am Kate, and this is where I teach you everything I know about sewing, and we learn more together along the way. Today, I am talking about how sewing has ruined me. I don't want to be as dramatic as to say it's ruined my life, but it has ruined me as a person in a few ways. Let's find out how. Before we get started, I did just want to mention that there is a subscribe button below this video. If it is red, that means you have not subscribed yet, so click that. Or in the bottom corner of this video, there's a little circle that says to subscribe. You can click that and be subscribed automatically. Now, let's find out how sewing has ruined me. Now, I realize this sounds, again, just quite dramatic, but honestly, it has. Being somebody who now touches fabrics and deals with fit and all kinds of quality in terms of garment sewing and even just like any soft textiles, it has really ruined me for shopping. I cannot go shopping anymore. Not that I did it a whole bunch before, but now if I'm in a store and I notice something, even like now I just basically just thrift. So if I'm out there, and yes, I do keep touching her boob here. You guys like this video? Did you like the video where I told you about my little miss here? She still doesn't have a name, so let me know. What should we name her? Anyway, when I'm thrifting and if I'm looking at something, and again, we just don't shop for clothes anymore because I do all that, but if I notice clothes or even handbags or like, you know, somebody gets a gift and I'm looking at it, or, you know, baby clothes or whatever it is, I'm like, this is so poor quality. And oftentimes they're cheap because, you know, it's like slave labor and they don't have time to do the proper quality. They might be excellent sewists, but they just don't have the time and they're under a lot of pressure. Or it might be even something luxury that it's like, really like, okay, maybe that's dog now. Maybe that's made really well, but honey, it doesn't fit you. And you need to find something that's gonna be suited more to your body because it's beautiful and there are clothes out there, or we can make them. So it's just really ruined me in terms of fit, quality, of like fabrics, mixing and matching different fabrics. Like, I don't know, I just wouldn't mix like two different kinds of fabrics that don't really go together. I wouldn't mix them together, which is something we see, and I mean that's fine, it's just not something that I like. So through my own sewing practice I have learned that. Also different styles of garments, so this is something really fun we as sewists get to experiment with as kind of part of our hobby. So I'm still working on it. I'm still working on finding my style and my fit and all those things for my personal body, but that's the beauty of it, you know? Yeah, I can go to the store and try on a bunch of things and decide what I want, or I can just grab some fabric from my stash and sew them up immediately. I have a Seamwork account, so anything I want I can pretty much make because Seamwork has a ton of different patterns. If you don't know what Seamwork is, I do always have a discount code linked below and you can try it out for a little bit less than the advertised price. It's also just kind of ruined me for just clothes in general. Like I look at something and I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but here's how I can make it better. So it really is actually inspiring more than anything, because you can, you know, look at something and you're like really negative towards it, like you don't love it, it's not something you would make or buy, but you can take bits and pieces that you do like and bits and pieces from this garment and put them together. Whereas if you were shopping, you'd be like, oh, I really like the sleeves on this jacket, but the pockets and the bodice of this jacket is more my favorite. And if you didn't sew, you have to decide between the two. So it's just ruined me. It's just ruined me as a shopper. And I can honestly say I do not miss shopping. I much prefer to take a pattern or an inspiration photo and just make my own piece of clothing to match that and suit my body, my style, my color palette. As you know, I've had my colors done, and just go from there and have a really custom curated wardrobe. Probably the number one way it has ruined me is the quality of fabrics. And this is really apparent the other day. We were going through my husband's clothes. We were purging his side of the closet, and there was this one shirt, and he got it when he purchased a Tool, I think it was. So I held it up to him and I'm like, are you really keeping this? And it's new, it's fairly new. And he was like, yeah, it's so warm and fuzzy. And I'm like, it's polyester. And yeah, sure, it is probably warm and fuzzy because it doesn't breathe. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I wasn't judging him or anything. It was just, I was like, okay, like, you just have so many other nicer cotton shirts. And it's really made me realize, even before that I just don't like polyester. I know I'm wearing polyester right now, but that's because I like the sweater in general. But I don't buy those fabrics anymore. If it was like, a rayon or something like that, that's a little bit different. But if something says 100% polyester, unless it's fleece or something that I need for a specific project, I really steer away from it. I just love my natural fibers, and you don't see a ton of that when you're shopping. On average, yes, there are shops that you can gravitate towards that have that, and they love their natural fibers, and they do support eco-friendly initiatives and things like that. But as a sewist, it's really made me realize that I'm just gonna buy natural fibers from now on. And even that, it's made me realize that I don't need much more fabric for quite a while here, probably through 2022. I should be able to use up my stash by that point, and then I can really focus on just picking up pieces or thrifting fabrics to kind of fill gaps and buy as I need, instead of just having this major stash. So that is how sewing has ruined me as a person, and I try not to nitpick or like pick apart people's garments out loud anyway, but I will notice stuff like, I'll be like, oh, that's a really great dress, but I would have changed this about it. But I don't say that, like I wouldn't unless they asked my opinion. But I do catch myself like dissecting clothing in the store, or like waiting in line or sitting at a restaurant or something like that. I do find myself noticing these things, and I'm like, why would they do it that way? But that all comes down to personal taste and style. And I want to know down below if sewing has also ruined you in any of these ways, or any different ways that I haven't mentioned. So leave us a comment and let us know so we can start a really great conversation down there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give it a big thumbs up, and again, hit that subscribe button so I can see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.